What's up, you guys? This is One Classic Gamer here, and I'd like to welcome you to another movie review. This is going to be for Wonder Woman. Now, I apologize in advance because I am really busy. Even though I just got out of school, I'm really busy with work now. So this review isn't going to be like my normal movie reviews. It's not going to be edited or anything. I'm just gonna talk about my like opinions of this movie, like give my raw opinions and thoughts. It's going to be sort of like the Better Call Saul reviews because I just don't have the time to edit this. But yeah, I saw this movie like 2 days ago, but I'm getting the review up now because now I had the chance to actually give my thoughts on it. And look, I'm going to be honest. I've talked about this before on my YouTube channel, and I'm actually starting to get tired of the superhero movies. Marvel, DC, whatever. You guys know that if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you know that I'm starting to get tired of the Marvel and the DC movies and the superhero movies in general. Like, I'm starting to get tired of these movies. Like, they just feel like the same thing to me at this point, and they're getting old. I'm getting worn out. Like, especially with the Marvel movies. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was such a disappointment for me. I really did not like that movie, and everyone freaking praised that movie. People were like, it's amazing, it's better than Guardians 1. I'm like, no, it really isn't. So going into this movie, I really wasn't expecting much. I mean, I was expecting to just, I don't know, I was just expecting to just be entertained at least, because I hadn't seen really much of the promotional material for this movie. I hadn't watched many of the trailers or anything like that. But I still went to go see this movie because, I enjoy doing movie reviews and, yeah, going to the movies. And you know what? I really fucking enjoyed this movie. I really did. This movie is actually really good. It's probably the best movie that DC has released since The Dark Knight Rises. I did not like Man of Steel. I obviously, I didn't like Batman v Superman because we only got the Batman versus Superman, and the Batman versus Superman aspect was only like 15 minutes of that 2.5 hour train wreck. I thought Suicide Squad was entertaining. It was fun. It had color. It had a lot of colors to it, and it was just a fun movie to watch, but overall it was kind of a mess. This is the first really good movie that DC has released in a long time. I was surprised watching this movie. I was like, damn, this is actually really fucking good. So, the story of Wonder Woman, the main character, her name is Diana, and she lives on this island with the that is just all women basically, and they're called the Amazons, and they're like really fucking amazing fighters. I mean, they could like jump up in the air, do like 3 flips, and then shoot you like with the freaking arrow in the face perfectly. Like, they're crazy, but they're really good freaking fighters. And they live on this island that is sort of protected by like this barrier, like from the outside world. No one knows about this island. Whenever you're approaching this barrier, it's just all fog. You can't see. And the reason why it is like that is because a long-ass time ago, there was a god that created human beings. But then the god's son, I believe, Ares, decided to corrupt the human beings and make them turn on each other because he didn't like the invention of human beings. And so the Amazons, seeing this, they're like, you know what? We're going to make sure that we can't be found by, the outside world, that we're just our own living, because in this movie, one of the biggest messages about this movie is just how corrupt human beings are, how willing we are able to like turn on each other and kill each other and murder each other and do really bad, brutal things. And this movie does such a good job conveying that, through Wonder Woman's point of view, because, for the first 30 minutes of this movie, it's just her on her island. And then Chris Pine, who plays a guy named, oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. Steven, I think is what his name is. Steven something. He crash lands on their island, and she discovers him. And it's weird because it's like, for her, it's like, Chris Pine is like the first man that she's ever seen. And he, like, explains to them what's going on in the outside world. I mean, this movie takes place during World War II, basically. And he convinces Wonder Woman, Diana, to actually go with him in the outside world and yeah, stop the war. Basically, that's the story of this movie. But it's really cool because in the first 30 minutes of the movie, you're sort of seeing her world, and you're seeing Chris Pine, like sort of just like um, not knowing what to think about her world. It's just like he's in an unfamiliar territory. And then after the first 30 minutes, once it gets into like the second act of the film, it flips because now Wonder Woman is in a world that she doesn't know. She has to come to terms with the real world, and it was interesting seeing both of those points of views. And Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I'm just gonna say right now, is fucking amazing. She is so good in this movie. Oh my god, she was one of the best parts about Batman vs Superman. I haven't really seen her in anything else that much, but she is really good in this movie. She owns this role, and Chris Pine is equally as good. You may look at the trailers and be like, "Oh, Chris Pine is, his character is sort of like like Lois Lane from Superman, in the new ones where he's just sort of sidelined and he's just sort of like he does nothing, and Wonder Woman's the one that protects him." But no, Chris Pine contributes in his own way too. He kicks ass too, and he was also really fucking awesome in this movie. And overall, like it was really good. The first hour of this movie is nothing but dialogue. Really, like it's just a bunch of talking and story and character development. But the writing and the character development is so good, and it's so funny. Like it makes you laugh a lot too. Like it's so funny that you're never bored with the dialogue scenes. It's so like this movie is entertaining even when there isn't action going on. That's how well, these characters were treated and how well the story was made. It's just like the first hour is just nothing but dialogue, but it's still so good, and I was just there. And once that first action scene happens, it's just like once the first action scene happens, I saw it, like she says, like Wonder Woman says a line, and then she turns around, and in the trailer, like they show this in the trailer, like she starts climbing up this ladder into no man's land, and when that moment happened, I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Like I was watching, like it was so fucking cool. Like the way the first like major action scene happened, it was just crazy. Like it it didn't come out of nowhere. It did kind of come out of nowhere. She just says a line, turns around, starts climbing up this ladder, and runs straight into the enemy fire. And I was like, bravo, that was fucking amazing. It was so great. It like I can't explain to you like the goosebumps I had when I saw that happen, when I saw her do that. Like the first action scene, major action scene, gave me goosebumps, gave me chills. I was just like, wow, I've never seen something that amazing in a superhero movie in a long time. It was just great the way they did it, and the action is also really good. Like Wonder Woman, she kicks ass, even though there are some obvious moments where CGI moments where she's jumping around and shit and through like buildings and throwing people out windows and shit. She still kicks ass, like hardcore. And once you get to the action, it's so great. Now I will say one thing, um, the third act of this movie, like the last like 15 to 20 minutes of it, gets super CGI heavy. Like it's just nothing but CGI. And you're watching it, I was watching it, and I was like, okay, this isn't all great. This is kind of, it wasn't terrible because the movie spent so much time making me care about these characters and getting invested in them and everything that when it got to the really insane CGI stuff, I was just like, okay, whatever, I'll let it pass. I'll let it slide. Because the last battle in this movie is so CGI heavy. You could just tell there's so much CGI in it. But yeah, just everything about this movie was just so great. I love the way it looks too, like the way it was shot, the settings, the locations. I mean, it's just this is an old school superhero movie. It takes a lot. I mean, you can tell that the people who made this movie, they were really inspired by the original Superman because there's a lot of shots in this movie that are kind of relate to that movie. and it's an old school movie. It's a lot like reminded me a lot of like X-Men First Class. When X-Men First Class came out, that movie was so good because it was in a World War II setting, just like this movie, and it did such a good job with its characters, and it was great. Like this movie, it was great. The only complaint I have about this movie is that sadly the villains are weak as fuck. The villains are just like they had some scenes that kind of made me laugh a little bit, and I was like, okay, that's a little cheesy, that's a little ridiculous. But other than that, I really, surprisingly, really fucking enjoyed Wonder Woman. I'm surprised, like I really did. So yeah, I mean, in the end, I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. It was really freaking good. So if you have your doubts, if you're wondering if you should go see this movie or not, go see it. I mean, it's actually got really good reviews, and those reviews are the first, reviews I've seen in a long time on the internet that are actually accurate about a superhero movie. Because the past couple of superhero movies have had reviews like Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said, people are praising that movie, and in my opinion, it really wasn't that good. Um, Age of Ultron, people were praising that movie, and it really wasn't that great. This is the first superhero movie that got a lot of praise and is actually really fucking good. So go see Wonder Woman, and yeah, you'll enjoy it. So that's my review for Wonder Woman. If you guys enjoyed this, please comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll try to make my movie reviews edited in the future. It's just I can't with this one. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this review, please comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.